Welcome back, DFS community. I am VonnTheStatman, and week one is coming up very, very fast. And I got some solid picks in store for you guys today. So if you're watching me for the first time, guys, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss my future picks. And also, guys, if you want to check out the packages that I have available for Fanduel, you can go to my website that you can see on the screen, and a link to my website will be in the description section of this video. All right, guys, without wasting any more of you guys' time, let's get right into it. All right, guys, so I'm gonna spend a few minutes talking about the different quarterbacks you can consider for week one. So if you look at the first quarterback, guys, you got Allen. Allen averaged 25 fantasy points a game last year, guys, and he was the best fantasy quarterback for the past few years. He had Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, really good solid group of tight ends, but this year he doesn't have Gabe Davis and he doesn't have Stephon Diggs. One thing that I'm hearing a lot of people say, talking heads, they're saying that with Davis and Diggs gone, there's 178 targets that's vacated. At first I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, that's a cool stat. And I'm like, it makes you sound really smart. But then as I started to really dabble and I started to look at teams that lost number one receivers, I did my research and I saw that they didn't throw the ball as much the following year. If you go back and look at Kansas City, when they lost Tyreek Hill, they didn't throw as much. Patrick Mahomes' fantasy numbers went down drastically when he lost Tyreek Hill. So don't expect that the Buffalo Bills will say, we don't have Davis or Diggs, but we're going to just throw the rookie Coleman out there and just throw him 120 balls a game. That's asinine, guys, if you believe that. Oh, and we just got Samuel. We're going to just throw him 60 balls a game. No. It's going to be more of a ball control offense. It's going to be more dink and dunk. It's not going to be a lot of explosive plays. It's going to be more passing to Shakur, the tight end in the middle. Allen might run the ball more. So don't just think that they're going to throw the same amount of passes. So he gives me pause week one, even though he's playing against Arizona. And at 9-2, at that price point, you pretty much need 25 fantasy points. So if he gets you 18, you in trouble. CJ Stroud, I just believe he's overpriced. He averages 18 fantasy points a game. And if you look last year, he didn't start very slow. He started kind of good, 10. Then he had 3 straight 20-point games. So if you're looking for a quarterback that can get you a solid 20 points, then you can put CJ Stroud in there. I think he'll get 20 going up against the Colts. Barrow, when he's healthy, is a beast. Richardson last year was a beast as well. He had 3 out of his 4 games. He went over 17 fantasy points, which is great. And he is probably the most talked about fantasy quarterback this year. And against Houston, it's a solid matchup. He put up 17 against them last year. Houston has gotten better on defense, so I think they're going to pick him off once or twice. But Kyler Murray is somebody who I love. Dak Prescott, I'm leery because Dak Prescott started slow. His first 5 games last year, as you can see, he started off terrible. 19 wasn't bad, but then 15, 14, 7. That's not going to win you a lot of games. He's on the road against Cleveland, who get pressure on the quarterback, so that's interesting. You got Tagovailoa. I'm going to show you something that's interesting with Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa led the league in passing yards, but was one of the worst fantasy quarterbacks. I would never play Tua. Look at him in September. He had 2 games over 20 in September, but after that, he had 1, 2, for the rest of the season, 2 more 20-point games. So just because you throw a lot of yards, don't mean someone I want to play in fantasy. I need a quarterback that can run as well as throw. And even if he doesn't run a lot, I want a quarterback that's going to get yards, because you get 4 points for every 100 yards. So if a quarterback has the ability to get you 300 yards, that's 12. He throws 2 touchdowns, that's 20 points. And if he runs for 15, 20 yards, he's going to dominate. So that's why Kirk Cousins is so valuable. Look at Kirk Cousins, guys. Kirk Cousins, look at him. Look at Kirk Cousins. He averages 19 fantasy points. You would have never guessed that he was one of the top fantasy quarterbacks. But look at the yards that he throws, guys. He's constantly getting over 300 yards. And that's going to change this year because he has, but I think he's going to still get 300 yards because I think his tight end, he loves throwing it to the tight end. He loves throwing it to the number 1 receiver. So Drake is going to probably average 85 yards a game. And then I think Kyle Pitts will get up to about 75 yards a game. And if they can get a bona fide number 2, which they do have a solid number 2, that Kirk Cousins is going to ball out. He's just great at throwing the ball. But if you want to take a chance, guys, Caleb Williams is someone you want to take a chance on week 1. Look at who he's playing against. He's playing against Tennessee. He's at home. He can run, guys. and he can throw the ball. So I'm going to take a chance with Caleb Williams. Now, the running back position, guys, you have Robinson, who was overpriced. He only averaged 12 fantasy points. He had way too many stinker games for me to take a chance on him week 1, and he's playing Pittsburgh. That's going to be a challenging matchup, even though he'll probably catch 8 or 9 balls out of the backfield. That's still going to be difficult. You got White, and if I'm playing Caleb Williams, I'm going to definitely stack his running back. I think that Swift is going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. Now, Swift is going to have a lot of 7-man boxes this year. And rookie quarterbacks, they love dumping it off to the running back. They love dumping it off to the tight end. So we're going to take Swift to go with Williams. Now, at the wide receiver position, I'm going to also take Moore. I'm going to go with his wide receiver, Moore, because Moore is solid, guys. Moore is going to, he can catch 3 balls for 85 yards. And against Tennessee, this is a solid matchup, guys. Not going to waste a lot of you guys' time. If you look at Moore last year, he averaged 14 fantasy points a game. And he had a quarterback that's not as good as Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams on them scramble drills, Moore's going to have a big season. And I think he's going to come right out of the gate and get 20 fantasy points, guys. You look at, he had a lot of big games. You could just look. He had a lot of big games. He had a 45-point game with 23, 11, 13. So I think that in this matchup, that his floor in this matchup would be like 9 fantasy points, because wide receivers, if they don't get 100 yards receiving, they're dependent upon getting touchdowns. But if he catch 8 balls for 80 yards without a touchdown, he's still at 14 fantasy points. So we'll take that. So he'll be at 12 to 14 fantasy points. If you get into the end zone, now you're talking about 18 to 20. So that's great. At the tight end position, guys, I said it earlier, I like Pitts. I know that Kirk Cousins loves the tight end, and Pittsburgh is going to try to take away Drake. And Pitts hasn't done a lot over his career, so he's going to go unnoticed week 1. And Pitts and Ferguson and Njoku are my 3 tight ends that I love week 1. So you could take either one of those 3. But we're going to take Kyle Pitts just because he's at home. And then to give you an inexpensive defense, guys, I love the Raiders. Going up against the Chargers with all of this turnover, we don't know what the Chargers will be, but we know the Raiders, they got an additional pass rusher, and Crosby was already a beast. And they gave this, if you look at it, they gave this Charger team fits last year. Look, they put up 21 against Kansas City, 25 against the Chargers. So I like this. So that's it, guys. You got the Raiders defense. You got Kyle Pitts. You got Moore, Swift, and Caleb Williams. All right, guys. So that's it, guys. So, guys, don't forget to win-win. That means give people what they want, so you can get what you want. And, guys, don't forget to think and ink. That means write it down so that way it come true. So, good hunting on Week 1 NFL. Love you guys. If you like the video so far, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment.